off a weekend in which they win 2 out of 3 against the LSU Tigers. On Friday night, they got a 10-4 win. Followed it up on Saturday, lost a heartbreaker there 9-8, but trailed 9-1 in that ball game, and then came back and pounded the baseball yesterday. 15 runs on 15 hits, a run rule 15-5 win over LSU. Coach Chris Lemonis joins us right now on the Farm Bureau guest line. Coach, congratulations. What a weekend.
Yeah, good weekend. Big crowds, great weather, and, man, the guys played great. So good start to SEC play and, off to another big weekend.
I think it was 2 weeks ago when I asked you if you still had confidence in what you thought going into the season this offense could be, and you did not hesitate. You said, absolutely, we're going to swing it. Was this weekend, in your mind, kind of the coming out party for the offense?
Well, it was. I mean, and it's Hunter Hines gets 3 homers. Logan Kohler plays great. Aaron Downs has some big hits. Bryce Chance, big hits. Like, the guys, baseball's a game of cycles, and it sucks when you're in a bad cycle, your team's slumping in one area, but, I mean, they've all done it before. And so getting them all going at the right time, boy, it showed you how potent our offense could be.
I know there are a bunch of guys that stood out this weekend, but I thought what Nolan Stevens gave you on Friday night, where you go to the bullpen and I guess down 2 at the time, or maybe down 1 at the time, and he gives you 5 2/3 of 1 hit, 1 run ball, and was just really, really good.
And he's just really, really good. I mean, I know it's a lot to say for a freshman, but, I mean, it's left-handed, it's aggressive, it's 92 to 94, touching 95 with a good breaking ball. I mean, he's really talented. We've kind of slowly brought him in because he's hitting and he's pitching and everything else, but he kind of had a neat week. He had a homer to tie the game and Biloxi and a big hit in Saturday's game to help the comeback. And so, he just does a little bit of everything for you, but he was really special this weekend.
I know we're in an era where we see freshmen, young players come in and impact teams all the time. Can you speak a little bit to how difficult that is? Because we're talking SEC baseball. We're talking about the best college baseball in the country, and maybe we discount it a little bit because we see it so regularly in different places, but how hard is it to do what he's doing?
It's really difficult. And I actually spoke to him this morning because there's so much more work he has to do on both sides of the ball. And he's a worker, but it's just hard to get everything in. And his ceiling is still really high because there's some things he could really improve at for a kid that talented. But it takes a lot out of you. You got to be very disciplined, take care of your body. And there's a competitive piece, and he's just super competitive. So what he makes up for maybe in a little bit of coaching, he's just able to get out there and compete.
We talked to Christian Ostrander and Mike Bianco on Mondays during the season also, and I told Oz earlier today I was going to ask all 3 of you this question. You've got 4 weeks of non-conference baseball and now a full weekend of SEC play, of conference play in the books. What have you learned about your team so far?
Well, it's been a journey for us. I mean, the first week, banged up a little bit, struggled, lost some close games, had to fight through a little bit of a funk, and then, seeing some new guys out there and still watching some guys grow for us. And then you have a big weekend of SEC play, and where they play about as good as they can. We've been preaching all along. We just get a little bit better every week, grow, become a better team. And, that's where I'm most pleased. I'm just still seeing guys come to the yard working and trying to improve, trying to get better, because the great teams, they grow. They're just not great to start. They keep getting better as the year goes on. And I'd like to hope that's what we are. We're a work in progress.
We talk a lot about the offense, and we talk about arms, but defensively, 1 error all weekend long. I mean, that really gives you a chance, doesn't it?
It does. And I thought we out-defended them this weekend. And not just the errors. It's just we made some great plays in the outfield, took some plays away, made some great plays in the infield. Johnny Long caught an outstanding, 2 games that he caught. I just thought we did some really good things on the defensive side.
I don't necessarily offensively, his numbers don't just blow you away this weekend. 3 hits on the weekend, but I watched David Mershon play, and I see the long hair, and I don't see a guy that's huge, but the more you watch him, he's just such a baseball player. What does he bring to the field for you? I mean, even not on game day, just on practice day, just kind of day in, day out.
He's the same guy in practice you see in a game. Like he plays and practices probably at the highest level as anybody we got in the program. He loves baseball. He's kind of our energizer bunny, right? I mean, he wasn't great offensively this weekend, but he had a hit in every big rally, and he walked a couple times. He stole some bases. He's driving you nuts as a pitcher, as a pitching coach. He just does a lot, and he really knows the game. He comes from a baseball family. Dad was a college baseball player. He's had brothers, multiple brothers. He comes from a family of, I think it's 8 or 9 brothers and sisters, right? Big Catholic family. So he is, he's my rock on the team. Just a very special kid, very unique. He's a little bit different than everybody else in some ways. He sung the national anthem last week. He can do a little bit of everything. So we're lucky to have him.
In some ways, that's the kind of guy that you hate. Like, no, he does everything well. Stop. You gotta have something you're not good at.
He probably can't dance, but besides that, I think he's pretty good at everything else. So maybe he surprised me with that.
What about Nate Dom? Anything you can tell us with regard to kind of where he is right now?
Yeah, he's just throwing daily right now, working his way back. So that's kind of where we're at, just day to day.
And just kind of wait and see how he feels and figure out when he's able to
you got to kind of go back to square one and just work your way back into a program. So it's just a daily process with him.
How hard is that to do? How hard is it to be patient when you've got a guy like that who's been so good? Or do you just kind of look at the big picture and say, okay, it matters more that he's with us for the rest of the year than just this weekend?
Would I like to have him for A&M? Yes, but I'd like to have him for the last half of SEC play more. You just have to look at it that way. And so you got to, we don't know. Like I said, I spoke to him today. It's a day-to-day thing. He's just got to grow back and feel good and get a little bit of his confidence back. When you go through something like that, it kind of rattles you a little bit, and you take a step back. But, he's progressing nicely. So, but we're not going to rush him. We're going to do the right thing. And are we in a tough stretch? Yes, but the next 10 weeks are a tough stretch. It just doesn't – in our league, it doesn't matter. So I'd rather have him healthy for the long run.
Coach, what'd you make of Dangelos yesterday? He goes 5 innings, gives up 5 hits, only allows 3 earned runs. Got a little shaky with control there in the 5th, I guess it was. Did you like what you saw from him, kind of from a fighting through it and battling standpoint?
Yeah, well, for 4 innings, he was probably as good as any pitcher in the country.
Yeah.
It's 52 pitches going into the 5th. I think he threw 40 in the 5th. So, lost command a little bit, but it wasn't like a wild. It was just off the edge, type of thing. And he actually had gotten a big blister on his foot in the 5th. And so he comes out of the game, and we were thinking about taking him out because, his pitch count can be different because of the left-handed throws. But he takes his sock off, and you got a big bloody sock there, look like, so – just precautionary. You don't want him to go out and pitch on something like that. But I thought he was good. I thought he was really good against a really good offense. And, I mean, he's coming out, and his last couple pitches are 97, 98 miles an hour. Pretty special effort from him.
All right, I got to ask you about Saturday, the play at the plate. I was driving and had the game on, so I pulled off to the side of the road when they were doing the replays, and I really wanted to watch and see. And they kept showing replays that didn't look like they were conclusive. And then it looked at the end like there was one – where you could kind of see maybe that the ball had come out of the catcher's glove, but it's like the umpires or video replay had already made up their mind at that point. Did you get any explanation? Did you see anything on that? And you may not be able to say anything. And if that's the case, that's okay too.
It was a really awkward play because he had the ball in the glove, and then when he went to put his hand to it, our guy's arms got in the middle of it. So they were tangled up as they were putting it together, and somehow, he comes out with both hands on the ball, which really didn't happen that way. So that's what made it look really awkward. I never saw a ball out, but the way the catcher acted, it looked like the ball was out. So, I mean, I went back and I watched. I mean, the bad thing is once you make a call out or safe, it needs to be conclusive, and I didn't see anything that was conclusive. That's the hard part, I think if he'd have called him safe, I don't think they could have overturned it either, But I just, just hard to tell with all the, everybody scrambled together there in the middle of the plate. So, and the ball beat him there. The play in that Saturday game, they made 2 phenomenal plays in the 8th, the 7th and the 8th, to keep us off the board. I mean, that freshman picked up that ball on the run and threw a bullet to the plate. Bounces left or right a foot, we're safe, but he makes a great play, and that's why they get to win. So
Memphis and Texas A&M coming up this week. Coach, always appreciate your time. Great catching up, and congratulations again on a great week.
Thanks, Brian. Have a great day.